everyone, thanks for joining me today on our YouTube channel, Flippin' Hippos. I'm Star, and today is time for one of my favorite videos to make every month, plush that sold on eBay. Because of our impending move, I am behind on about 1,000 things, so I didn't get around to a plush that sold on eBay video for the month of March. So today we're going to take a look at all of the plush, each and every one, every single plush that sold on the platform in the month of March. And this will be part one. And then later this week, we'll come out with part two plush that sold on eBay in the month of April. And that should catch me up for the year. And hopefully I'll be on top of things and be able to stay on top of it. But it's also fun to record and release and watch and talk about plush 2 times in a row. Who doesn't love a part 1 and a part 2 plush video series? Everybody's here because they love plush as much as I do. So let's jump on in and just start talking about the plush. And we're going to start with the Dandy Sock Monkey. Dandy is a good brand. It is definitely a bread and butter brand. It can sell for higher amounts than what most bread and butter sells for, depending on the plush. I've had some giant bears sell for $40. And then you've got these little sock monkeys that'll sell for like $14, $15. I pick up Dandy whenever I find it, if the cost of goods is great to me, which is usually 50 cents, 99 cents, maybe $2 even if it's a larger animal. Dandy used to be a Kmart brand. Kmarts are out of business in most areas. From what I understand, there may be some still open in California. But some of the Dandy plush is really sought after and people like to collect them. In addition, sock monkeys are great in any brand. People love sock monkeys, especially unique sock monkeys like this one. It's not just your run-of-the-mill brown regular monkey. This one's pink. It has stripes. It has a little pom-pom on its head. Very cute. So this sold for $13.99, and they ship first class when they're this small. Very lightweight. Here's another Dandy. So again, this is a good brand. I love to pick them up, especially these unique ones like this guy. He's a gingerbread man with a Santa hat. And he's a special Merry Bright holiday plush friend. You'll find that some Dandies will have tags like this where they have a special brand, if it's the spring line or the Christmas or whatever. They'll often have the original price right here, which will be lower than what you're going to comp it at and list it at. So I usually just cut out the corner where the original price was, and or if there's one over here, mark it out with a permanent marker. So you can see that the price is missing the original price. I listed this cute guy for $15.99, and he sold for that. And he also ships first class. He is really cute. All right, next up, we have a Build-A-Bear outfit. Longtime viewers, I'm always saying strip those Build-A-Bears. And in fact, in this week's What Sold video that came out on Monday, I talked about one of the outfits I sold that was just a plain white tank top and swim trunks that sold for $15. So strip those bears. Unless it's clearly like a theme bear that's meant to have the outfit on, I always strip the bear, sell it separately from the outfit. You will make more money that way. These little outfits also sell very, very quickly. They sell much faster than the actual bears themselves. They weigh next to nothing to ship. This is a hoodie and shorts outfit that was made for limited to. So there's the tags, limited to, which used to be a mall brand of clothing, if I'm not mistaken. And it's just a sleeveless little hoodie, zip-up hoodie, and matching shorts. And they sold for $13.99 and shipped first class. Here we have a Winnie the Pooh. I just talked about Winnie the Pooh in my Monday video as well. He is an oversaturated character, and unless you have something super duper unique or big, most Poohs aren't going to sell for that much. Fortunately, this Pooh had both going for him. He was unique, and pretty big. He's 24 inches, so he's 2 feet long. And there he is laid out with his little measuring tape. And he is a special celebrating 80 years of friendship. And he's got himself and Piglet there stitched on his foot. He sold for $19.99. I had 2 of these. One sold, I believe it was Poshmark or Macari. And they sold like within days of each other or on the same day. It was really strange that they sold that quickly together. One had been around for a very, very long time, and this one was newer. But yeah, these large Poohs are good to get because they will sell for about $20. And even though he's large, he's lightweight, so he's still shipped first class. Nope, he shipped priority. Well, I made a liar out of myself. I believe this is the one that we made the mistake on. He was supposed to have shipping on him, and he didn't. But still, he was like $8 to ship, if that. Pretty good deal. All right, next up we have Angry Birds. Now, these red birds are a dime a dozen, again, with your oversaturated characters. Not going to get as much money. This one had writing on his tag as well. If you find the bombs, the blackbirds, or any of the unique ones like from Rio or Star Wars, those will fetch a higher price and sell more quickly for you. I always put in photos of the tag like this and then just disclose it that there's writing on the tag. I don't normally knock off money or too much money for writing on tags. This bird sold for $10.30, shipped first class. Then we have a tie Beanie Buddy. So you guys know I think that most Beanie Babies are worthless, and if you go through the comps, you can see that yourself. In fact, I did a whole video on it where I actually screen shared solds and comps of Beanie Babies. I'll link that at the end for you guys. You can watch it if you haven't seen it yet. But the Beanie Boos, the Beanie Buddies, they have the Attic Treasures, the classic tie. Some of the tie is worth money. Some of them can be really good bread and butter, too, if they're pop culture characters from Nickelodeon, Nick Jr. shows, Disney Jr. shows. This is a pretty large Easter Bunny, and he's a unique color. I really liked his color a lot. I called him Mint Green as one of his keywords, and he sold for $17.99, and he shipped first class. Then we have, here's another Beanie Buddy. Speaking of, this is a Mystic Unicorn. This one's just laying down. It's got a pretty unicorn, like shiny horn and rainbow hair. But he is very small, and he sold for $13.99, and he shipped first class. This came out of a wholesale lot, and it didn't have any tags on it, but I thought it was so stinking cute and so unique. I sold it without a brand, and I do that often. If you're a longtime viewer of this channel, you've seen plenty of what sold videos where I show and talk about plush that don't have any tags and they don't have a brand, and you would just put unbranded down here in the item specifics right here, and then if you cram enough good keywords into your title, you'll do just fine, especially if they're super cute and unique and you can take really good photos. And I just start out with what it is rather than the brand for the title formula. So this is a Ladybug, and then I put stuffed animal, pillow, spots, love bug, large. Realistic is a good word to use on plush that's realistic. This Ladybug sold for $24.99, and even though it was so large, it did ship first class. It just had to go in a larger poly bag. It did not weigh a pound. Here we have a Russ Yomiko Classics. This is a Chihuahua. It's a very tiny little clip-on dog. 4 inches, you can see there. Russ is a good brand, and typically it's going to sell for a lot more money than this. They have a lot of vintage dogs and vintage animals that had their names printed on their tags. I remember a Casanova I sold once offhand. But this guy was so small, which is probably why he comped low. But his face, isn't he cute? He is so cute. Anyway, he sold on the best offer of $8.99. And of course, he shipped first class. I did put one small wrap of bubble wrap around him to protect his plastic hard clip-on. Here's a Wish Pets. This came out of a wholesale lot. Wish Pets was new to me. I think baby harp seals are so stinking cute. I love them. He is very adorable. So I did sell him on a best offer of $11.69. And would I buy him again? I mean, he came in a wholesale lot, so I didn't necessarily choose him. I would if I saw him for 50 cents or anything else of this brand again. 50 cents a quarter at a yard sale, flip it for $12. Yeah, I'd do it. Here we have a Gans Webkinz Langer Monkey. This guy does not have his code. So the thing with Gans Webkinz, they're hit or miss. I've sold some without codes for $20 or more. I've sold some with sealed codes for $12. Sometimes most times I really think it's more about the animal. Is it oversaturated? How sought after is it? Is it rare? Is it unique? More than the actual code. But the code can play a part in its value. If you had one of each, of course, if I had this monkey with a code, I would have sold him for probably like $16. So everything can play a part in it. They're hit or miss. I always snatch them up. I love getting these. I find them for 50 cents or less, like at yard sales, church sales, stuff with bags, wholesale lots. And I just grab them all and I'll comp them as I list them. If you don't like to take risks like that, or you don't really like bread and butter animals, then you would want to comp it before you purchased it. I took a best offer on this guy of $10.79, and he shipped first class. Here's a Fortnite Cuddle Team. This came in a mystery lot box. I purchased 2 of them, as did Robert, and we opened them together. You guys may have seen that. That was last year. I thought the Fortnite plush would go a little bit quicker. I still got a couple laying around. It might be their size. They're very small. There was this guy, and there was one very similar that had a key chain clip. And, yeah, they didn't go as quickly or for as much, but that's okay. $12.99 for something this small, and it ships first class. And I've already gotten all of the money back on those mystery boxes. Then we have a Gans Get Well. So here's another Gans, not a Webkinz, just a Gans. I like Gans. It's a brand I almost always pick up if the cost of goods is right. One of the things I love best about Gans is they have tags that tell you what their animal is. And it can be as plain as saying black leopard, lion, or Get Well animal monkey. But most Gans that are, intact with all their tags will have this tag here telling you what it is, and you can use that in your keywords. This monkey sold for $13.99 and shipped first class. Here we have a Tigger. We've talked about the oversaturated characters, especially if they're not, special brands. This is a Disney, but Tigger is very oversaturated. And even though he's unique with his flowers, he's small and he just doesn't comp for that much. I don't mind selling them though, because they are just like a bunch of bread and butter animals, and their volume, you got to do a lot of volume. He sold for $10.12 and shipped first class. This is an example of what I do with leftover poop plush. If I buy lots or wholesale lots, or sometimes, you go to the thrift store and they'll have a big bag for a couple bucks, and you can see inside the bag, and you can see some really good plush that are going to sell for high dollar, and then you see a handful of these poopy guys. Go ahead and buy the bag, sell the really good plush, pay for the bag, you're already making profit. And then what I do is I take all the poops and I make little lots out of them. You can make lots of like animals. You could do a sea animal lot, a jungle animal lot, farm animals. Or if you just have a bunch of randos like this is, you can just create your own lot. And I don't sell them for very much. it's just a little bit of extra profit because, again, if you're buying wholesale or like a bag, or you're paying $3 for a whole bunch of plush, your first sale is going to pay for it. So I don't see any reason why not to list the extras together just to make a little bit extra profit. So these sold for $7. I took a best offer, and the 5 of them was still very lightweight, shipped first class. I just kind of piled them nicely together inside some tissue paper and wrapped them up, stuck them in a poly. Here's a Gans large dog. So here's an example of a Gans that can sell for a lot of money because it is the XOXO puppy, a little bit less saturated, and he was a little bit larger. So I listed him for $24.99, and he did ship first class. He was really big, but not heavy. He didn't weigh a pound. I just had to get a bigger poly bag for him and kind of like put his legs and arms in on his chest and squeeze him in. Here's another Gans Webkinz. Again, these are real hit or miss. I thought this poodle, I was kind of disappointed. I thought it would be unique and different and be worth a little bit more, but not really. But it's still cute. It's a rocker poodle. Isn't it cute? Look at its little disco ball tail. Yeah, it's so cute. All right, so it sold for a best offer of $9, shipped first class. Here's a BuildABear. I love me some BuildABear. Even the plain dogs and plain bears, I start at $18 and go up from there depending on what they are and their size. This was the rabbit from the Hop movie, so he is a little more special. I did list him for $19.99, and that's what he sold for. And he shipped first class, and he is really cute. Very soft, too. Here's one of my cutitos. This is the Spadito Slothito from the Sloth series. This one has the pink pepper on his tushy, and he does not have his burritos. So cutitos, when they're new, they come in a foil pack, like trading cards do, in little foil packs, and they're wrapped in these little blankets, and they look like burritos or a fruit roll-up, depending on the animal and what it's supposed to be rolled in. They have different series. Some are like tacos, some are like ice creams that are rolled in waffle cones, but they're all soft like blankets that they roll in. Some of them are scented. They're all really super cute. Even if they're out of the package and you don't have your burrito, you can still sell them for pretty decent money. This pink sloth sold for $13.49 on the best offer. And then I have a couple gray ones that sold you'll see in later videos. But the pink one sold for $13.49. I just put no burrito, just like I do on the Webkinz when I put no code right in the title and then in the description as well. They ship first class. They're all very small. This is a Pokemon. This is Turtwig. He came in the mystery lot boxes that I was talking about earlier. He's a Pokemon Center, which is a good brand, and you know it's authentic if you get a Pokemon that is Pokemon Center. And then if you can't find your Pokemon, what I usually do, well, I ask Keith because he's a Pokemon nerd, but if you don't have a Keith or a Pokemon nerd, you can just go on eBay and Google like Pokemon turtle. Nope, go on eBay and search for it, or go on Google, and you'll usually pull up a picture that's similar to yours, and you can figure out who your character is. I do recommend putting what the actual animal is in your title as a keyword, because there are parents out there who don't know the Pokemon's names. And if you're a parent and you're buying something for your kid and you just know, oh, he likes that one turtle from Pokemon, a parent might type in Pokemon turtle when they're searching on eBay to go shopping, and then yours would come up. So I always put their real name plus the type of animal they are. Tip for you guys. This guy sold for $28.99, and he did ship first class. He's really cute. Then we have a Hallmark Peanuts Snoopy. Snoopy is typically super oversaturated and very disappointing when you get him home and comp him. But this was a Hallmark one that was super unique. He had writing all over him. He's got the grad cap. He sold for $23.99 and shipped first class. I do like Hallmark plush, all of them, especially the characters like Snoopy. This is a Beanie Balls, so this is kind of like a lower end Beanie Boo or a tie that's still pretty decent bread and butter. He's got glitter eyes. The glitter eyes usually mean more money and faster sell. This is Thunder, the elephant, and it sold for $13.75, shipped first class. Next up, we have Kion from Disney Junior Lion Guard. So this is an example of a tie Beanie Baby that I would pick up because it is a recognizable character and popular from Disney. This sold for $11.99, shipped first class. I think he's cute. Next up, we have a Yoda. And this Yoda had been around for quite some time. Very, very cool plushie. I kind of wanted to keep it. It hung out with me on my desk where most of the cool plush do until they go to their new forever home. But I kept him on my desk with me, and he wasn't moving. So I went and changed the first photo of the gallery. Took out the background and replaced it. So it was nice and crisp and white. And I said if he didn't sell within 30 days, I would keep him. And of course he did. For $11.99, and he shipped first class. Next up, we have a Folk Manus. You guys, Folk Manus is a really good brand to look for. The plush, but especially the puppets. They do have Folk Manus puppets. They sell for a lot of money. Depending on which one you find, they can be very, very expensive, very sought after. This is a skunk. Very cute skunk. This is just the stuffed animal. So this one isn't a puppet. And you can see here I am with the realistic keyword again. This is a furry folk wild animal. And he sold for $24.99. So look for those Folk Manus, guys. It's a good brand. Here we have a Chester Cheetah. This came out of a wholesale lot, so I didn't personally pick him up. He had writing on his feet, on his sneakers, which lowered his value. He is vintage. He is super cool. I would still pick him up out in the wild, even with the writing. I got $24.99 on the best offer. I had him up for a little bit more than that, knowing he'd probably come down a little bit because of the writing. Can you imagine if he didn't have the writing? Anyway, he shipped first class. And then we have here a brandless, again, plush. Came out of wholesale, just a generic tag on it, no brand. I decided to go ahead and list it anyway. Worst case scenario, it's bread and butter, which is what it ended up being. I just put platypus and then just filled in as many good keywords as I could into the title there. Listed it for $12. It would have been $12 on our sale. And then it went on the weekend sale for $11.24. So that's pretty decent. He's shipped first class. Next up, I have a strawberry shortcake doll. Now, this is a more modern strawberry shortcake. If you can find the vintage dolls and stuffed animals from the 80s and 90s, those are definite Lolos and hot, hot, hot. But this is a more modern one. I actually had two of these. One sold on eBay and one sold on Poshmark within days of each other, just like those Pooh Bears. And this one sold for $14.06. She shipped first class. I picked her up for like 50 cents, I think. I would still grab her again. I'd sell her all over again. I sold two of her. Just keep in mind that, you know, the modern day strawberry shortcake isn't going to be worth as much as the vintage. And they're usually made by Kelly Toy. I know that there was a conversation in our Facebook group, Flippin' Hippos Reseller Pod, a couple weeks ago about Kelly Toy and how a lot of people avoid them and it's a bad brand. It's really not. Kelly Toy makes a lot of Care Bears, a lot of the vintage toys, and they make a lot of characters that'll sell for money. So just do your due diligence, know your characters, know your vintage plush, and look things up. But don't just write off the entire Kelly Toy brand. I would say they're bread and butter for the most part. I wouldn't say they're poop at all. I've had generic Kelly Toy animals from Claw Machine. They look like the Claw Machine prizes, and I've sold them for $15 and $16. And then, of course, like I said, they make the Care Bears and stuff. So Kelly Toy is not a poop brand. Here we have a Boyd's Bear. Some Boyd's Bears are worth a lot of money if you can find the right characters, and the mini ones are really popular right now. Personally, I pick up any and all Boyd's Bears I find. I love them. Some of them will have clothes. Most of them have a cardboard tag with their name on it. This poor guy did not. He was really hard for me to even find to comp, so I just made up a price for him. But I'm like, I'll just sell him for like $20. And then he went on sale for $18.74, and I took a best offer of $15. But considering he didn't have any of his tags or any of his clothes, I'm good with $15 on him. He shipped first class. But the ones that have the tags and the clothes, of course, they're going to go for more. Here's another Build-A-Bear outfit. This is just a plain t-shirt, Surf USA, little swim trunks, sold for $14, guys. Strip those bears. Here's a vintage Snuggle. He's so creepy. He's so cute and creepy. He sold for $24.99, guys. Little tiny 9-inch plush. Look for those Snuggles. And there's that Russ. Russ does a lot of the vintage plushes. Keep your eye out for vintage Russ, recognizable characters from the 80s and 90s. Speaking of, here's a Care Bear cousin. Of course, cousins aren't going to be worth as much money as their counterparts, the bears. And this has got a copyright of 2005. So this is not a vintage plush. An actual Care Bear cousin from the 80s or 90s would be worth a lot more. I pick up any Care Bears, cousins, whatever's that I find. I love them all. This one sold for $11.99. I think our cost was 50 cents, and it shipped first class. Then I sold the Dr. Seuss, the Sneetches, and other stories. This is a Kohls Cares. So Kohls Cares is bread and butter for sure. There are some that might be poop, and there are some that are worth a lot of money. But for the most part, they fall in that middle ground where they're just bread and butter. Kohls Cares can be oversaturated, but there's certain characters that really go for a lot of money. I know I've talked about the mouse from that book, If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. There's a version of him in the overalls, and he's holding a cookie that sells for a good bet. But Kohls Cares is just one of those brands I almost always pick up if I find it for 50 cents or $1. And especially if they're recognizable characters. So this one sold for $13.19, shipped first class. And then we have a wee, small, tiny, little Peter Rabbit. This is a Frederick Warren. Let's see if I can find this tag. You can see that he's vintage. One telltale way to tell that a plush is vintage is the tag will be looks like it's printed on one long tag, folded in half and attached. Modern plush have like a front and a back. These you can always see where they're folded in half and it cuts the words in half. Those are vintage tags, tush tags. He so small and so cute, isn't he? I couldn't get over. I almost really wanted to keep this one too. I love the books. Peter Rabbit. Anyway, he sold for $11.99 and he shipped first class. And then we have a petting zoo pink tiger. The petting zoo is part of the Hershey Park in Hershey, Pennsylvania. So if you ever see this, it's good to pick up. It's a theme park or part of a theme park. This tiger sold for $18.99 and shipped first class. And then last but not least, I have a BuildABear calico cat. So this is just a calico cat, nobody special, no character or anything. And she sold for $15.99. She had started her life out around 18, sat around long enough that I brought her price down. She's cute though. And she shipped first class and she was only 50 cents. So $15.99 was good for me. All right, that wraps up all of the plush that sold in March, except for one that I can't show you because it glitched out. And I remember talking about it during my What Sold video back in March. We sold a Kermit the Frog plush that was posable, 13 inches for $23.43. And then once we shipped it, it wouldn't upload the tracking and it kept saying it still needed to be shipped and I had to call eBay. And now it shows up in our solds as an error and you can't even look at a picture of it. You can't even look at the solds and find it. Really weird. Just a total glitch out on that listing. But anyway, it was a Kermit the Frog. So there was one additional one that's not seen here. 13-inch Kermit, $23.43. Look for those Kermits. A lot of the Muppets sell for really, really good money, especially Kermit the Frog. I always have good luck with him. He sells pretty quickly. But that does wrap up all of the plush that sold on eBay in the month of March. And then we'll be back tomorrow with the plush that sold in April. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, guys. I always appreciate hearing from you. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up before you leave. If you haven't already and you'd like to, please subscribe to the channel. Help us feed a hungry hippo. Join our Facebook group. It's called Flippin' Hippos Reseller Pod. You can find it on Facebook or use the link provided below. Until next time, go be productive, go make some money, and as always, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you guys. Y'all are the best. Bye.